Fires in North America have a long and painful past. The western United States usually has the biggest and deadliest wildfires because climate change has made the fire season longer and worse. However, the Midwest and Canada have been hit by some of the worst wildfires in North American history. In this video, we will take a look at the 5 deadliest wildfires in American history. I have a request before starting the video. Like the video and subscribe the channel so that every incoming video can reach you easily.
Number 1. The Peshtigo Fire and the Great Fires of 1871. In October 1871, the upper Midwest region of the United States was engulfed in a blazing inferno for 3 days. 4 of the worst fires in American history, known collectively as the Great Fires of 1871, burned simultaneously in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Among them was the legendary Great Chicago Fire that killed an estimated 300 people, charred 17,500 buildings, and left 100,000 people homeless. At the same time, more than 500 people died in 3 other wildfires in Michigan. Yet, the Peshtigo Fire, which broke out in the Wisconsin logging town of Peshtigo on the night of October 8, 1871, was the deadliest of the Great Fires. The fast-moving wildfire killed 800 residents in Peshtigo alone and claimed as many as 2,400 total victims, making it the deadliest fire in recorded North American history. The summer and fall of 1871 were some of the driest seasons on record in the Midwest. The drought conditions alone would have been enough to make Peshtigo a tinderbox. But the situation was worsened by reckless logging practices that littered the landscape with dead branches and stumps. On October 8, a storm front pushed into the upper Midwest with 100 mph winds that whipped small wildfires into flaming cyclones that hit Peshtigo without warning. Many of the town's survivors spent a hellish night in the Peshtigo River flanked by walls of flames. Number 2. The Cloquet Fire, 1918, the second deadliest fire in North America, also struck the upper Midwest nearly 50 years after the Great Fires of 1871. Similar conditions existed in 1918. In fact, it was the driest October in 48 years when sparks from a passing train started a blaze outside of Cloquet, Minnesota. The fire smoldered for several days until October 12. When winds measuring as high as 76 miles per hour fanned the previously tame wildfire into a raging killer. The Cloquet Fire fully consumed the towns of Cloquet, Moose Lake, and Kettle River before bearing down on the larger city of Duluth. More than 1,000 people lost their lives in the wildfire, 38 communities were destroyed, and 250,000 acres burned. Number 3. The Maui Wildfires, 2023. The town of Lahaina on the island of Maui was once the capital of the Hawaiian Empire. It was a tropical paradise, but on August 8, 2023, strong winds from a passing hurricane turned some brush fires into an uncontrollable blaze that destroyed Lahaina and killed dozens of tourists and locals who didn't know what was going on. The trouble started not long after midnight in the early hours of August 8, when authorities reported a brush fire in the Maui upcountry, the rolling hills and volcanic mountains near the center of the island. A second fire sparked outside of Lahaina around 6:30 that morning, but Maui fire authorities reported that it was fully contained by 9 o'clock. The brush fires then started up again when Hurricane Dora, which was hundreds of miles to the south, sent strong winds their way. A lot of people in Lahaina didn't know they were in the middle of a circle of fires that was getting tighter. When thick smoke and sweltering heat blocked escape routes, some desperate people jumped into the ocean and stayed there for hours. The death toll from the Maui wildfires was estimated to be at least 97, as of September 25, 2023. Already making the blaze the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. Sadly, those numbers were expected to increase as an estimated 1,000 remained missing or unaccounted for. Number 4. The Big Burn or Big Blow Up, 1910. Over just 36 hours in August of 1910, an unprecedented wildfire known as the Big Burn or the Big Blow Up scorched 3 million acres of virgin forest in Montana, Idaho, and Washington. It was an early and painful test of the U.S. Forestry Service, formed in 1905. Of the 87 people who died in the blaze, 78 of them were firefighters. As with other deadly fires in North America, the 1910 blaze began as a patchwork of small brush fires burning in drought-stricken forests. Then came the wind. Hurricane-force winds from a massive cold front slammed into the region and whipped the brush fires into a frenzy. Firefighters and survivors of the big blow-up described flaming trees ripped from the ground and hurled through the air at 70 meters. pH. The heat was so intense that trees exploded like Roman candles. According to one survivor, the death and destruction wrought by the big blow-up convinced the U.S. Forestry Service to combat and contain even the smallest forest fires to avoid another massive conflagration. Number 5. The Camp Fire, 2018. In November of 2018, the Northern Californian town of Paradise was transformed into a living hell by the deadliest wildfire in California history. The late summer and fall are known as fire season in California, but nothing prepared the communities of Paradise and nearby Concow for the violence and intensity of the Camp Fire. The blaze was ignited on November 8 by a nearly 100-year-old electrical transmission line in the Sierra Nevada foothills above Paradise. A stiff wind pushed the wildfire rapidly downhill before many residents of nearby communities could escape. The speed of the wildfire at its peak intensity was calculated as 80 football fields a minute. It took just 4 hours for the Camp Fire to nearly erase the town of Paradise, claiming 86 lives and leaving more than 30,000 people homeless. More than 5,500 firefighters were deployed to fight the deadly blaze, which burned for 17 days. Wildfires can be a devastating force of nature, and they can be especially deadly. It is important to be aware of the risks of wildfires and to take steps to protect yourself and your property. If you live in an area that is prone to wildfires, be sure to have a plan in place in case of an evacuation. Thank you for watching this video about the 5 deadliest wildfires in American history. I hope you learned something new. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos about history and science.